are good at giving directions. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to turn to the person next to you and tell them how to get to your house from where you are right now. Okay, how did you tell someone to get to your house? You probably chose the most normal, straightforward path, right? Well, this week, Jesus is going to give us the pathway to true happiness. But it's not a normal pathway, it's kind of a weird one, and it's our beatitude for this week. Remember, the word beatitude means happy. Jesus is teaching us how to be happy for our whole lives. Now, if I asked you what was the one thing you should focus on in life to make you happy, what would you say? You might talk about getting that great job that makes you a lot of money, or maybe doing amazing in school so you can go to your favorite college. Or you might be focusing on being great at your sport, or even trying to find that right boy or girl. But when Jesus talks about how to be happy, he doesn't mention any of those things. So here's what he says. God blesses those who hunger and thirst for justice, for they will be satisfied. Jesus says you can be happy when you focus on one thing. Now, it's not money or stuff or even your friends. Focusing on those things will not make you happy. Jesus tells us that most paths to happiness are wrong. Most of the ways we try and feel happy won't make us truly happy. And if you try and chase it in the wrong way, it's like taking the wrong directions to someone's house. You'll never get there. So what are we supposed to focus on? Justice. What? Justice. What? Justice. Now, when Jesus says justice, he's not talking about the legal system. Other translations of the Bible call this word righteous. So, justice and righteousness get at what Jesus is saying here. He's saying happiness comes when you're living right for God. Living right for God means trying to obey God with what you say, do, and think. When you're living right for God, you're on the path to true happiness. And Jesus said we should be obsessed with living for him, which is why he uses words like hunger and thirst. Have you ever been really hungry or thirsty? Like so hungry or thirsty that you actually ate at Arctic Circle? Jesus says that we should be that hungry for God. Now, you may not feel that hungry for God right now. To grow in our hunger for God, Christians often practice spiritual habits. Now, we're talking about spiritual habits, not annoying habits. Like chewing with your mouth full, or not flushing the toilet, or if you drive when you don't use your turn signal, or when you're texting back and you only say K, you know what I'm talking about, Jay. Now, spiritual habits are things like praying or reading the Bible, and you're going to talk about those in your small groups. But just know, if you're not hungering for God right now, it's probably because you don't have any of these spiritual habits in your life. But here's the good news. If you follow what the verse says, you can trust God to make you happy. Remember, Jesus said if you hunger and thirst for God, you will be filled. When you do this, you're on the path to true happiness. And Jesus wants you to be happy, not just today or tomorrow, but for the rest of your lives.